You were never built for shallow exchanges. Your mind doesn't warm up for weather talk or polite noise. It waits for something real. You don't avoid small talk because you lack social skill. You avoid it because your emotional world runs deeper than surface words, and depth has its own language. While others speak to connect quickly, you wait to connect honestly. That difference is not accidental. It is how your inner world is designed. You feel it almost immediately. A conversation begins, and within seconds you know where it's going. The familiar path, the safe jokes, the repeated phrases that ask nothing and reveal nothing. You participate at first. You smile, you nod, you offer the expected response. But inside, something pulls back. Your energy starts to drain, not because people are exhausting, but because the exchange feels hollow, like standing in shallow water when you were built to swim deeper. You notice how quickly people talk about things that don't matter to them, weather, plans they won't keep, opinions they haven't really thought about. And while they speak, your mind wanders inward. You start thinking about what they didn't say, about the emotion behind the smile, about the tension hidden in their voice. You often leave these interactions feeling strangely tired, not socially anxious, not awkward, just depleted. It's the exhaustion of being present in a space that doesn't meet you at your level of depth. You've learned to stay quiet when conversations skim the surface, not because you have nothing to add, but because you don't want to add something meaningless. Sometimes people assume you're distant, uninterested, hard to read, but the truth is quieter than that. You are listening for something real, and until it appears, you wait. For a long time, this part of you may have felt like a flaw, the way you disengage from light conversation, the way you withdraw when talk stays shallow for too long. You may have told yourself you're difficult, too selective, too serious. Others may have said you're quiet, reserved, or hard to connect with, as if connection is measured by how many words are exchanged, not by how much truth is felt. But what looks like avoidance is often discernment. You are not rejecting people, you are filtering noise. Small talk asks very little of the heart. It requires presence, but not honesty, response, but not reflection. And your emotional system doesn't operate on autopilot. It senses when something is empty. It knows when words are being used to fill space rather than share meaning. So you pull back, not out of judgment, but out of self-respect. This isn't emotional distance, it's emotional maturity that hasn't found its matching environment yet. You value depth because your inner world is deep. You seek sincerity because you live sincerely. You wait for real conversation because anything less feels like pretending. And there is nothing weak about refusing to pretend. Psychologists observe that some people are wired to process life inward before they express it outward. Experience doesn't rush through them, it settles first. Research suggests that emotionally advanced minds are more sensitive to nuance than to noise. They don't chase stimulation, they absorb meaning. For you, awareness runs deeper than conversation. You feel the emotional temperature of a room before you notice the words being spoken. You sense intention before content. Where others are energized by constant exchange, you are nourished by understanding. Surface-level interaction feels loud, not lively, busy, not rich. Studies indicate that people who avoid shallow conversation often have a heightened internal dialogue. Thoughts layer over each other. Feelings are examined, not dismissed. Nothing passes through unnoticed. Your mind works like a deep lake, still on the surface, vast underneath. You don't respond immediately because your inner world is checking for alignment. Does this feel honest? Does this feel necessary? Does this feel real? And when it doesn't, your silence isn't withdrawal, it's discernment at work. This depth isn't something you learned, it's something you've always carried, a way of experiencing reality that values substance over stimulation and truth over performance. The world is built for quick exchanges, short attention, fast replies, easy laughter that moves on before it settles. It values comfort over honesty, smoothness over substance, talking over listening. And in that world, you often feel slightly out of place, not superior, not resentful, just misaligned. While others bond over shared routines and casual updates, you wait for something more grounding, a moment of sincerity, a pause where truth is allowed to surface. You don't need many words to feel connected, you need the right ones, and those don't appear often in a culture that prefers speed to depth. The contrast shows up everywhere, in social gatherings that feel loud but empty, in conversations that move quickly but say very little, in expectations that connection should be effortless and constant. Your inner world doesn't operate on that frequency. It values quality over quantity, presence over performance, so you adapt quietly. You engage when it feels real, you withdraw when it doesn't, not to reject the world, but to stay truthful within it. There is a loneliness that doesn't come from being alone. It comes from being surrounded yet not met, from conversations happening around you but rarely with you. You often feel like you arrive emotionally before others do. You sense where things are heading. You understand what is beneath the words long before it is spoken, and because of that, you wait. You hold back. You give people time to reach the depth you already feel, but many never do. So you carry your understanding quietly. You don't announce it, you don't correct others, you don't rush the moment. This can feel isolating, not in a dramatic way, in a soft, persistent way that sits quietly in the background of your life. You may feel misunderstood, even by people who care about you. They see your silence, but not your awareness. They notice your distance, but not your sensitivity. There are times you wonder if something is wrong with you, why connection feels rare, why depth feels one-sided. But there is no self-pity here, only honesty. You are emotionally ahead in a world that moves quickly but feels shallow. And being ahead doesn't always look like being seen. Sometimes it looks like waiting alone in a space that hasn't caught up yet. There comes a moment when something inside you softens, not because the world finally understands you, but because you stop asking it to. You begin to see your avoidance of small talk differently, not as withdrawal, not as social failure, but as emotional clarity. You realize that you were never rejecting connection. You were waiting for the kind that feels honest, the kind that doesn't require pretending. Your silence starts to feel less like absence and more like integrity. You notice how much energy you save by not forcing yourself into shallow spaces, how much calmer your inner world becomes when you trust your instinct to wait for depth. There is relief in this understanding, a quiet relief, the kind that doesn't announce itself but settles slowly into your body. You stop explaining yourself so much, stop shrinking your needs to fit the room, stop mistaking emotional selectivity for coldness. You accept that your emotional system is tuned differently. It responds to sincerity. It opens to presence. It closes gently to noise. And for the first time, that feels aligned. You are not difficult. You are not distant. You are emotionally developed in a way that doesn't rush. You don't avoid small talk because you can't connect. You avoid it because you already know what real connection feels like. And once you know that, it becomes impossible to settle for less. Some people speak to be noticed. Others speak to be understood. You belong to the second kind. Your depth doesn't announce itself. It waits. It listens. It responds only when something real appears. In a loud world, that can look like distance, but it is actually discernment, a quiet intelligence of the heart. You don't need constant conversation to feel alive. You need meaning. You need presence. You need truth, even if it arrives slowly. So if you've ever felt out of place in small talk, if shallow words leave you tired instead of connected, there is nothing missing in you. You were never meant for surface-level exchange. You were built for emotional depth. And once you recognize that, your silence stops feeling empty and starts feeling intentional. This understanding doesn't make noise. It simply stays with you, calm, steady, enough.